against a bit of political action because President Joe Biden is here. And we just wanted to take the opportunity of sort of being able to speak directly to him, or at least be chanting in his vicinity, to demand a ceasefire in Palestine and to stop funding the Israeli occupation and military.
We are here to show that Nantucket also stands with Israel and to counter the misinformed and untrue statements of others. Using terms such as apartheid and genocide demonstrates a lack of understanding of history, the current situation, and the words themselves. To those calling for a ceasefire, it is important to understand that there was a ceasefire prior to October 7th. Hamas violated that ceasefire when it brutally killed, burned, raped, and beheaded 1,400 innocent Israeli citizens, including women and children and entire families, and took 240 innocent hostages, including toddlers and grandmothers. We in Israel are not anti-Palestinian, but we are anti-terrorism.
So when Gazans were polled from September to October 6th, only 27% of them said they would have voted for Hamas if elections were held again. So claims that the people of Gaza and Palestine are in support of Hamas because they were democratically elected over 20 years ago are false and clearly not representative of the true feelings of the people of Gaza. 67% had little faith in the Hamas government, and 70% said they did not have freedom of expression. And what's important is that overall Gazans did not want to eliminate Israel, but favored a two-state solution and favored living in peace along Israel.
Israel tries to keep innocent Palestinians from harm's way. Hamas does the opposite. Hamas uses innocent Palestinians as human shields and establishes military operations and weapons storage beneath hospitals, schools, and mosques.
I completely understand that the events of October 7th were atrocious and need to be answered, but I do not think that the way of answering those acts is to indiscriminately bomb Gaza and slaughter children. And so I think that in this time there needs to be more thoughtful negotiations, and I think everyone can agree that peace is a better alternative than war and violence, and so that is why we gathered here today.
It is unfortunate that some on Nantucket choose to demonize Israel, a democratically elected government and staunch ally of America, as it responds to the vicious attack by Hamas. Yet they don't have a single critical word for the terrorist organization whose brutal aggression precipitated this tragic situation and who continues to hold hundreds of innocent hostages. Sadly, anti-Semitism exists on Nantucket as well. Thank you.
In regards to accusations of anti-Semitism and being in support, or at least not in criticism of Hamas, I do not agree with any organization, whether it be a state or a terrorist organization, that pledges or desires to annihilate an entire other community of people. That is literally genocide. And so I think that, of course, I have nothing but criticism for Hamas. I mean, we would not be here protesting if it were not for Hamas and the acts of October 7th. However, I do not think that the way forward, these two entities, I'm speaking about Palestine and Israel, both of them will continue to exist. It is just a matter of whether they will choose to coexist or exist in conflict. And so I'm not here saying that I wish the destruction of the state of Israel. I am saying that I want to strive for an Israel and a Palestine that can coexist with one another in peace rather than in conflict.
It's important for us to remember that there are, other human lives at stake that are just as important as Israeli lives, as just as important as Jewish lives, and it is not up to one state to decide where and how those lives should end.
It's just